One thing that the processing language provides for you is a variable. They auto-generate it to store the width and height of the window. And we can make use of that. What is a variable? Well, if you've taken algebra, you know that a variable is like a container that can hold lots of different numbers. The same thing is true. You can think of it kind of like a parking space, or just like a piece of Tupperware in your fridge, right? We store different things in there. The name of the Tupperware or the form of it or the number of the parking spot doesn't change, but the car that's parked there can change, and the food that's stored in the Tupperware can change. So one of these variables that's provided for you in processing is a width and height of the window. And so when you specify size 300 by 300, let's go back actually to 200. This 200 by 200, the processing language then stores the window's width, 200, inside a container that it generates called width. And it stores the height in one called height. And so we can make use of that. So let's draw an ellipse with at the midpoint. So at the width divided by 2, that's the x point. At the height divided by 2, that's the y point of the center, xy coordinate. At the width and height dimension. So that's how wide it is, and that's how tall it is. And this is, remember, these have been generated for you. So this is 200 by 200, 200 by 200. The width is 200, the height is 200. And processing just does that for you. Other languages may not. So that circle will fill the entire window. And we can easily resize the window. Say we want it to be 400 wide. And the ellipse will, no matter what size we specify here, the ellipse will always fill it in the way that we desired. It'll have a midpoint at the center of our window and be exactly as wide and tall as our window is. So that's pretty useful. And we can make use of that in the rest of our code. So now, instead of writing all of those numbers, we can say ellipse, we want it to be at the midpoint, but we want that to be divided by 2. We want the mid-y to be the height divided by 2. And we want the outermost circle to fill the entire screen. So if we run this, we will see that that red circle, oh, but I didn't, yeah, that's funny. Let's just go back to 200 by 200. And filling that. So I'm just going to copy and paste this line because I don't feel like typing it again. And this fill we need to change to be a white circle that's slightly smaller than the outermost circle. So this will stay at the midpoint, width, height. But this one will be times 0.75, which is, 3/4. And this one will be also times 0.75. This circle goes back to red, and I want this one to be divided by 2, so half the size of the outermost circle. And now if we run our program, we see a target symbol pop up, but the important thing is that now if we change one of these numbers, that change is populated to all of the remaining code. So we can, instead of making a change in like 8 places or 12 or whatever, we can make a change in just 1 or 2 places and have that change populate or affect all of our code, regardless of what size we want our target symbol. And that's plenty for this video.